The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
And welcome for another show of Table Topics. It's a Wednesday, and you're watching another show. If you're watching this show and it's not on a Wednesday night, it's because you're watching a repeat show. So tune in next week at the same time, and we will be here. John?
Yep. And I apologize there. During the intro, I'm like a little kid, probably like a 10-year-old, so whenever I see the intro, it cracks me up, sometimes more often than other times, so sorry about that. It's kind of specious.
We always, I don't know why we love that entry. But before we go over the news this week, let's talk a little bit about our organizations, because now it's the time that, the weather's changing. So I know you had a very important meeting on your neighborhood. So what's the news from there?
I was kind of outnumbered. There was a meeting to talk about the future of the organization. And it turned out that I guess people wanted to continue it. So we're continuing it. What was a positive outcome? A member that's been coming for a while, she volunteered to be the secretary. So that's helpful. Now we're going to be a little bit more professional like you guys are. We're going to have an agenda and all that. So that was a good thing. But I guess it was decided that we will have a meeting up until like April and then quit until September. So
the summer months.
Yeah. So
well, it's tricky, and I tell you why, because if you understand that the summer months, people are busy and all of that. But then on the other hand, then you have the winter time that people still don't want to come out.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So, it is kind of a tough situation, but we're going to try that.
You have to compensate, you have to compensate. Probably instead of meeting every month, meeting one every other month, instead of just stopping for 3 months. Because that's the thing, when things get cold, things get forget. So that's why one of the reasons sometimes I don't have a big agenda, but just the fact that if I get the people on the same room once a month, at least it's some lighting in there.
So
it's not that.
It becomes a habit. I hear you. Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So on the other side, I mean, it's good news, because we know we need the more the better. The more neighborhoods we have, everybody wins. The neighbors win, the city wins, everybody wins. So,
well, what else came out of that too? And I think you guys are probably going to be somewhat involved, at least, if not physically, monetarily. They may ask you. They're putting together some kind of celebration on the Quequechan Rail Trail again, which I think they did back in 19. So we are giving some funding, and we'll probably volunteer some hours there, so that's starting up. I don't know too much about it, because I wasn't too involved last time.
So I believe it's going to be on June 4th, I believe. We are, so I got a call from them a couple of months ago, because they lost some grant. They used to have a grant to do that. They lost some money, so in 2019, we gave them a donation of $300, I believe, or $250, something like that. I cannot remember exactly to the dollar. But so this year, they asked us to increase it. So the proposal now on the agenda for next month is to donate $500. And we're going to work with them with the hot dogs and the buns and everything they need. So, and that's going to come through organization, somebody that's on my board, that's Gates of Hope, So they're going to donate
Oh, that's good.
the hot dogs and the buns and all of that stuff. But because it's in a day that they actually cannot be there, I contacted the youth group, the South Coast youth group, and they're going to be there helping, serving the food, and the parents too will be involved. So I have them, but we will be part of the
excellent.
both with people there and with some money.
And money, I hear you. I hear you. They elected to give some money as well. So, and we'll see. You know, I mean, if anybody else gets involved. I haven't heard anything more since then. So, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
Yeah.
Well, I've been having a series of meetings because now it's the time that we look for the funds, for the fundraisers, for the sponsors, for the events. January, February, we pretty much look for dates, availability of groups and organizations that are opening to participate. And so, but now that everything is on the table, everything it's going. We have a bunch of cleanups on our neighborhood. But I was contacted a couple of days ago by Tony Abreu from the Angels Anonymous that they will be interested in doing a cleanup on Alden Street. And I told him, sure. I mean, the more the better. You know, I mean, anybody that wants to do a cleanup, you're more than welcome. I'm not going to tell you no. You know. And they just sent me a flyer today. I already posted on Facebook, and I thank them. I thank anybody that wants to do something. Apparently, they like to do cleanups. They've been one of the things they do. It's cleanups. I think that's how the organization started. And they go all over the city in all different neighborhoods. I'm happy that they contacted me, and so this way we can be part of it and we can participate. It will be the event, but this way we know about it and we can promote it.
Yeah, no, that's good. Like you said, never going to refuse any kind of help cleaning up anything.
No,
for sure.
We have partnership like I told you before with the police department, with the fire department, with the South Coast, with the youth cadets, and so we have a bunch of organizations that we work with. And Angels Anonymous, will be another one. They're more than welcome to come to the Flint neighborhoods and work with us.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yep.
So kudos to them, and they have a great organization. They have a lot of nice people, and he is a group that I really didn't agree with their position when they were formed. I didn't agree with their ideas, but that doesn't mean that we cannot be friends and we cannot, move forward. Yep. So whatever they started with, they moved forward, and now there's something positive. It was something positive that's still out of that negative back then, and. So I have a lot of friends that belongs to the groups. They always help me. They help me with some events, and I'm happy that they will be doing a cleanup on
Sounds like a plan.
So other than that, we had we closed down already the big trips. Yep. Finally. Was a little change on the cruise. I think for better. People's going to like it, because Royal Caribbean only starts the transfers after 11 o'clock. Okay. And our flight from Barcelona to Lisbon was 11 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
So they contacted me. They said, "I'm sorry, but we cannot transport you. You have two ways to do it. Either you contact a private company, bus company, to bring you to the airport before the time we started, or you have to go back to your airline and change your flights."
Okay.
So I went back to TAP. but the flight that we could have it and that we booked, we will not catch the connection to Boston.
Okay.
So we're going to spend a night in Lisbon.
Oh, excellent.
I think they're going to love it,
Yeah.
especially those that never went to Portugal, never went to Lisbon. We will arrive in Lisbon around 2 o'clock in the afternoon from Barcelona.
Cool.
So we will spend the rest of the day there, the night, and we just fly back to Boston at 11 o'clock on the next day.
Okay, in the morning.
In the morning.
Okay, cool.
So
yeah.
we got to Boston around 2:30 on the afternoon on the next day. So I already contacted a couple of people that is going to travel with us, and I think would be a perfect place, a perfect opportunity for whoever never went to Our Lady of Fatima.
Yeah.
I think we have just enough time to bring our luggage to the hotel,
Yeah.
grab a cab, and
Yeah.
it's like a 30-minute
Oh, wow.
drive.
Oh, I didn't know it was that close to
Yeah,
that.
it's close.
Good.
It's 30 to 45-minute drive, and we can visit Our Lady of Light,
Oh, excellent.
Our Lady of Fatima.
Fatima. Yeah, no, that's impressive.
I think will be a good addition of the, or a surprise for
Yeah.
them, because when they purchased the cruise was not,
Yeah, wasn't part
that
of it.
was
No,
not part of it.
That's awesome.
And still everything included.
Yeah.
Everything's still included. All the hotel and everything still
Wow.
included.
Wow.
Because I had to shop around for a good hotel.
Yeah.
For a good price,
Yeah.
a hotel would transfer, so we don't have another expense.
going back.
But we were able, Addison, I think that's the hotel name.
Radisson?
Radisson.
Yeah, yeah, that's an American brand.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's
So that's
American,
where we stand.
yeah.
It's 3 minutes from the airport.
Yeah,
So
no, that's good.
3 miles from
Yeah,
the airport.
no, that's good. Yeah, it's a familiar name for people in the U.S.
And it's a nice hotel.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all the changes, and
Oh,
you know.
geez, Sean. Well, you know, when I had went to your last meeting, I know it was brought up about the bikes and the four-wheelers. And it's interesting because about 2 days ago, I was watching the Boston news.
somebody
Did you
did
see
a
that?
cleanup, right?
Yeah. Did you see that?
He plowed.
Yeah, in Dorchester.
They're
yeah.
they're
And-
lucky they didn't have a plower in
yeah,
front.
well, I don't think because it's interesting, the two guys in the car were not arrested. They were just sent to the hospital. So I guess from what they had said, all those, bikes, they had mopeds, they had dirt bikes, and I didn't see any quads there, but I guess they somewhat hit that kid's car first, because when the kid comes in, and what happened is there was some fight between this guy driving a red car and these bikes. They were smashing on his window prior to that. So he got totally mad, and you could see part of the front of his car was torn off. He went into the McDonald's parking lot and just kind of almost rammed the kid in the moped.
I saw one right on top of the roof.
Yeah, he got hit off the yeah. So it was amazing. But what's funny is they still don't have those folks yet. But the people in the area said that has been an issue, and that's a pretty busy area. I believe that a little bit up the road there's a bridge that brings you over into Quincy. So it's kind of like a busy kind of intersection there. So it was kind of amazing.
And,
yeah.
and you remember, if you remember on my meeting, that's one of the things that I told the officers that I'm afraid of,
Yeah.
is because they know that we're not doing anything
Yeah.
about it, that they have intentions to grow.
Yeah.
And when we haven't, it's not they're going to compete to other groups, but if we have just a bunch of them, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned too, New York, New Jersey, but more so closely here in Providence. About a year or two, they were having that issue all over Providence and Cranston. And I don't know if you remember the story, but there was a guy on a moped that smashed into the building, but the cop was following, and they were, saying it was the cop's fault, but the guy had actually hit a stop sign and then hit the building. So there was a whole big thing on that. So I think that's what they're trying to get away from. But, same thing in New York and New Jersey. They have been doing that, and they will actually, if somebody gets too close to them, they'll follow and break their windows and all this. So, so it's kind of a tough situation. I mean, for the cops, they don't want to not do anything. But I think, you know, I think there'll be some sort of resolution. You know what I mean?
Well, I hope,
in this,
I
you know?
hope, and soon, because the weather's getting better now, and that's going to be a huge problem.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's going to be another problem that the police department is going to have to work with.
I mean, not that, you know, not that this is a justification, but Providence, this was going on there. This has been going on there for the last 5 or 6 years. We're kind of lucky that it, you know, we've just had it over the last year or so, but they've been dealing, New York and New Jersey have been dealing with this.
Well,
Boston has been dealing with this.
We've been having those around for a long time, but you used to see them in trailers.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they will go to the woods.
Yeah, yeah, which is...
And race
yeah,
there,
yeah.
you know. So we always had them.
Yeah.
But now it's actually on the streets.
Yeah.
So that's what I think that it's going to be a big problem coming. But locally, I think Joseph Correa, I think we don't have nothing to report on that. That's,
I think he's...
that's done deal.
I guess, I mean, the judge is having him report April 22nd, so... but he's saying this is it from now, you know, from now on it's done. April 22nd, you know, you're reporting. So yeah, that's kind of, we'll see. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, it's like let's see what happened on the other side in 6 years.
Yeah, and it kind of leads into, I'm not going to get into this too much, but it leads into the criminal justice system right now. Whereas, you know, it's always been, and maybe you could probably play into this more than me, that America has always been a nation of laws, and the criminal justice system has a blind on their face. But it's not, you know what I mean, at least in the last 5 or 6 years, I think any person watching the news or just up on current events can see that's not necessarily the case. And you know, our mayor, we can take as one of them that I think anybody else would have had to go back in December. It would have been here, put it on, you're going, you know. But if you have money, you know, there's a different system for you.
I think that for the criminals, that's a perfect example that you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, just like the kids learn bad behavior from watching bad behavior and seeing bad behaving not getting consequences and repeating them. You know, same thing, the criminals will see it. They will see it, guess what? I can do the same and nothing's going to happen to me. Okay? So I think it's a bad example.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I got maybe 1 or 2 more cases. We had the guy that was the actor out in Chicago that basically said that he was a victim of a hate crime. And then we find out that wasn't the case. There were 2 what I call patsies working for him. You know? And then he was so indignant in front of the court saying, I didn't do this, I didn't do this. You were found guilty by a jury of your peers. And there was evidence there. You wrote a check to someone, which, you know what I mean, that just makes you a dumb criminal if you're writing checks. And then you have him getting out of jail. And you have all these other different cases where you have these people that hurting people, and they're getting out of jail. And that's a case in New York. Some man was on the subway, threw his feces in this woman's face, and he was out of jail the next day. I mean, it's crazy. Then you'll see other people that do things that are not really as bad as something like that, and they're still in jail. You know, so. I hope this changes. I really do. But
I mean, everything. It's out of control.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, it's not. I don't even think that the people is supposed to have control. I don't think they even have a control no more. You know, and we're talking about it in everything.
Yeah.
This new judge that got nominated, and supposedly she's gonna get the position.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe that you should, just because of your color, you should have to be nominated for something.
Yeah.
You should, your qualifications, your education, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the precedent was set, Carlos, with the president. So I get that. But I agree with you. There's some things that, and I was listening to it on my way here, the Congress was talking about it. So we had one of our senators, Senator Markey, saying that during these hearings, there was a lot of racism spewed toward this candidate. Now, I listened to a lot of the testimony. I mean, granted, I'm working, so I'm not hearing everything. You know what I mean? You got it in the background. I don't remember anybody saying anything on those grounds. You know what I mean?
One thing that I'm worried, not for me, but for my grandkids, 50 years down the road, is just because we don't have enough doctors, we're going to have to put these people with no qualifications, okay, because they're yellow and we don't have yellow doctors. We're going to have to put, never mind if you have school, we need yellow doctors. And we're going to, so for my grandkids, I'm afraid that that's exactly what's going to start to happen. And this is just, when you open a can of worms, well, expect what comes after.
And what's funny with that is that this lady that has got the nomination, there was a person from South Carolina that both Democrats and Republicans in South Carolina backed this person. And all this stuff was coming out. They were attacking her down there, attacking her in D.C., and we had this woman. Now, from some of the things I heard during the court thing, they were getting upset, but they had legitimate questions on legitimate things, such as these people that are, gathering child porn or whatever that was. They were legitimate questions as to why they get lesser times than the federal government or the state government wanted. What is your rationale? That's all they were asking. And I found that they were getting very upset. Another side was getting very upset and saying, how dare you ask those questions? Well, if you're going to be in the highest court in the country, I think those are appropriate questions to ask. You want to know. That's a very serious thing. And one of the things was, and I understood what some people were saying, that I guess the judge had said, look, since we're in a new age now, that you can pull up like one clip. If you pull up 100 clips, it's all on the internet, so it's a lot easier to do than it would have been years ago. Well, that's not an excuse as to give someone relief or lessen their case, because now you can just hit 3 buttons as opposed to mail-in or whatever you did before. You know what I mean?
One of the options you had was requesting more time. If you need more time to review a case, you just don't decide that you request more time. I need more time. Look at our mayor. He's been asking more time to prove his innocence for what? For 3 years now? So guess what?
And there were issues, you know what I mean? And I have to say there were a few things that she was not frank with, or lacked some candor in some of the things with the school that she's on a board at, that her children attend. She pretended that she didn't know some of the things were being done or taught in that school, and she had to know because she's on the board, and I'm sure they had to approve the books. And so I didn't like that. I mean, on the whole, she seems like a nice person. She seems like she's intelligent, she's capable, but I do have concerns about that whole, that whole portion of it, the child thing there. You know what I mean? Because if you didn't have people looking at this stuff, there would be no need for them to get these kids together and hurt them. So, but again, we're very polarized right now, right? We're very polarized, and it's like it's about a party. It's not. This is an issue separate than whatever party you're part of. You know what I mean, Scott?
Let me bring you, we probably have 10 minutes left.
Oh, wow. That went by quick.
5 minutes
5 minutes,
left.
oh, even worse.
Let me bring you back to, again, the mayor was on radio, and it was mentioned again, the question of the 4-year term.
Oh,
every 2 years we have.
You mean our current mayor? Oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
The 4-year term. And, I was very, I was very opening, and I attend meetings, and I spoke about that I was not in favor, just because. And one of the things the mayor says is, well, having mayor elections every 2 years, we are always campaigning. Well, my answer to that is, you don't have to campaign. You have to work your 2 years. Yeah. Because whatever you're going to present after 2 years done, yeah, that's your re-election right there. Yeah. You don't have to work. You don't have to be campaigning. You need to be a mayor. Just concentrate in being a good mayor and do good for your citizens. And believe me, you don't have to campaign. They will re-elect you again. Yeah. Okay. So this is one thing, and just like the neighborhood councils, yeah, I disagreed with that. I mentioned that before, and I keep mentioning it. I don't agree because, fortunately, or unfortunately, because everybody has a right to run. Yeah. But unfortunately, what could happen is we only have one candidate that's not qualified, yeah, and he has to be elected. Yeah. Just like we were just spoken. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's the reasons that for mayor, yeah, or for city councils, that I don't agree with changes. Yeah. I don't know what your opinion is.
I agree. I would rather keep the 2-year term. However, I understand what folks are talking about. So in a 2-year thing, even if you're doing the best job, mm-hmm, you know how the politics are in the city. People are going to tear you up. And if you're not out there constantly telling your story, it hurts. So I totally get that. However, it's not like we've had like the best luck with mayors, you know what I mean, at times. So I prefer to keep it the way it is. I don't want to wait 4 years if we have somebody in there that people don't like what's going on.
You know what I mean? But you have to agree. Do you have to agree with this? Yeah. We had mayors that had 4 terms. Yeah. And we have mayors that didn't even finish 1 term.
1 term, yeah. Yeah.
Right there tells you if you're a good mayor or not. Yeah. If you're a good mayor, you are the one that's going to decide when you want to leave. Yeah. You know. And so that's why I disagreed with that. And unfortunately, we don't have qualified candidates running. Yeah. And fortunately, everybody is free to run. Yeah.
Well, I think part of it is, and we're getting close to part of it is too that, I think and this is not just in this city, it's all over the country. When things happen, people go after people personally. Mm-hmm. They don't go after how they feel about something, they go after them personally. And a lot of people, why would you want to do that? Like, mm-hmm, where people are tearing your family up, tearing you up. And some people don't want to put their family through that sort of thing. So I totally understand that. I mean, you're getting what, $16,000 a year, and probably you're giving half of that away to this club, this club, and this club.
That's why I'm saying those seats are for people that are really interested in helping the community. Yeah. Because for the money, it's not worth it. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. If you are really interested in helping the community, you go there not to make the $16,000 a year, because that's nothing. Yeah. Okay. You can make that in a part-time job. So, but you need to like the city and to make the change. To want to make the change for the city. Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah. We have about 2 minutes or 1 minute. Tomorrow it's going to be that help for people that the landlord need to pay rents and all of that. So with that, I just have to say this: welcome train. Everybody, everybody's worried about it. The people are complaining, but guess what? You wanted the train.
Well, you know what? Before this, on a positive thing, what goes up comes down, and this housing market has been up here.
I believe so.
Who would imagine you'd see houses selling for $600,000, and not the best areas in Fall River? Mm-hmm. So what goes up comes down. I've been there before, been there, done that, got the T-shirt. It's not going to be nice when it comes back down again.
Well, you know what I mean? Let's keep the T-shirt because it's sunny outside, and we come back next week.
Have a good night.
Thank you.